Hi everyone, it's Nicole Noasad today here for Jillibean Soup, and to show you how you can make a super cute interactive flip-up journaling area on your scrapbook page. So what I've done here is I've cut this shattered heart cut file from Jillibean Soup, and I've done it from white cardstock, and I've also cut some of the pieces here from different Jillibean Soup pattern papers. I'm just lining this up on my white cardstock because I want to add a little bit of color just to the white background so it's not so stark. So I'm doing that with some art crayons and a stencil brush. So I'm just going to brush that around the exterior of where my heart design will be later. And then what I've done also while I'm doing this here on camera is I've gone ahead and printed off some journaling into some of the pieces here that will fit inside of that heart design. You can go ahead and just print it and then use that white cardstock cutout to trace over top to get the shape you need, or you can be fancy on your silhouette and get the design yourself. So I'm going ahead and just lay that stencil down over top. I'm going to call this white cardstock piece a stencil and lay in my puzzle pieces almost where I want to have them. And so you can see here I have journaling on some simple white cardstock, and then I've cut the remaining pieces out of some pattern paper. So I actually really liked the color combination that it showed in the Silhouette store for this design. So I'm going to go ahead and use the same thing. So I have orange for the bottom, then a darker pink, and then finishing off along the top will be a lighter pink pattern. So once I fill my tape runner here with adhesive, I'll just go ahead and just finish popping those shapes in. Because I've used this design, the exact same design on white cardstock, is really simple. I can just leave it here in place and add everything back in like a little bit of a puzzle. And like I said, some of these pieces are in the orange, some are going to be in the darker pink, and then some will be in the lighter pink. And some of them I just can't figure out what to do, so I'm going to put those aside for now. I'm going to continue to add those in place, and this will maintain that heart shape and fill in all the pieces. And I do have some pieces also cut in the same pattern that you see the text design. And what we're going to do with those is create little flip-ups so you can have hidden journaling on your project. Once I just finish off the last few pieces here with this really nice pretty pink paper, I'm actually going to start placing some of those pieces over top of the journaling just so I know where my puzzle pieces kind of fit in. So you can see here, I have my heart all in place. I'm going to save that cut file for another project. Now to create the flip ups is really simple. I'm just going to grab some scrap pieces of paper here. You can see that's where I've cut out those designs on my silhouette. And I'm just going to line up that piece that I'd cut out and decide which way I want my flap to go. And it's just as simple as creating a little strip with your scissors. So I'm going to line this up to the edge that I want to have be my flip. And then I'm going to fold that piece in half. And then I'm going to adhere that to the back edge where that piece fits. So you can see it just creates like a little tiny flap, nothing too fancy. And now I can actually place that over top of my area, trimming it down just a little bit so I don't cover up any of that journaling. So I'm just going to fold it back upon itself and put it in place. And you can see I have a little flip up now for my journaling. So really, really simple. Nothing really fancy. And so I'm going to repeat the same pattern for the rest of my journaling pieces here. This one's on a bit of a corner, but that's not a problem. I'm going to show you how to do that too. So I'm going to use the shorter edge for this one, and I'm just going to again trim a little piece of paper, fold it in half, and then adhere that to the back of that shorter edge. And even though it's curved, it's not going to be a problem. You can easily trim down the little edges to make that curve so you maintain your heart design. So I'm going to adhere that first. And then I'm just going to simply take my scissors and on those little sharper edges that are there, I'm going to trim them down to that same slight curve that's on this cardstock or pattern paper piece. Same thing, I'm going to fold it over itself, line it up with the shape, and just stick that down. And now you can see I have a couple really quick flaps. So I'm going to do one more here with this larger one on the top. And again, just a simple little trim of a piece of pattern paper. Trim it down to the side that you want to have your flip up on, and then fold it in half and adhere it to the back of the pattern paper. No fancy tricks here, just something really simple that you can use hidden journaling on your project. I use this a lot. I really like to have kind of hidden journaling. I'm not the type of person to kind of put it all out there, so this is just a really fun way without a lot of effort to do that. So again, I am going to trim down the edge here because it is going to cover up a bit of my journaling, so I'll just use my scissors to trim off some of that excess. If you wanted to, you can also just kind of tuck that flap underneath where you have your journaling and have that flap not show at all. but I wasn't really too worried about that. So yeah, I'm just going to leave it the way it is. I did my one last piece there out of the orange, and now I'm going to go ahead and just finish off the rest of my title. What I realized when doing this project is that these foam stickers are really great to use in something like this that you are going to lift, because the foam is really malleable and you're able to actually stick that down onto the flippable element, and it will actually open up with your lifted tabs there. So I decided for each of my things where I have the journaling, I wanted to have something there to show that there's something to lift. So I'm going to use various little tabs here from the cardstock sticker sheets. And so I'm just picking ones that kind of go with the same color scheme that I have going on, pink, some different shades of pink, and then I'm going to use a yellow for the orange because I couldn't find one that I had left over for the orange, so this nice yellow will kind of work. Started to think that maybe a gray would be good, but decided to go back to the yellow, the one that I picked, and use that. And they do stick nicely together, but just in case sometimes they pop up a little bit, you do have to put a little adhesive. And I decided that I was actually going to pull them off and sew the whole thing together just to give them a little bit of a textural element to each of the flip ups. So I'm going to do that on my sewing machine. I'm just going to do a quick zigzag stitch and then add a little more adhesive again and stick those back on. You don't need to pull the whole thing apart like I did. And actually, had I thought about this in the first place, I would have done this before I stuck my interactive flips down in the beginning. So now you can see I have just a really simple way of knowing that there's something actually to flip up versus leaving them plain. I mean, it would have been totally fine, but there's no way for you to know that 5 years from now that you actually did that. So this kind of makes it seem like there's a reason for those little tabs there. So I'm going to stick these all back in place, and then all that's left to do is add a few embellishments to my page. I do want to think of a way to stick those down so that they don't pop up a lot. Because this is going to go in a page protector, you don't really need to, but I'll show you in a few minutes when I show you close-up shots of my project what I use to hold down those flaps. But like I said, these foam stickers are really great because they will actually bend open with the interactive flaps, so you don't have to worry too much about having something there like more of a chipboard title might not work quite as well because it would not be as bendable as these foam stickers are. So I'm just going to add a nice bold title in black here. I decided the white was just too much white. I'll add that and add a little heart onto my flip up, and then I will go ahead and add in some items here that will help me keep those flipped up elements down. Again, you could leave them in a page protector, but you can see here I've just added a few tiny little blinged out brads just to the pieces there where the flip ups are. And you can see they're just really easy to pull out a little bit of the jeweled brads there, and you can flip up and you have your journaling all ready to go. I hope you'll give something like this a try. It's very simple and easy to do. And join us again next time on the Jillibean Soup blog. Bye-bye.